Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with another installment of Building a Team. So, it's been a minute since we've had Building a Team. Some weeks, there were some games postponed. So, last week, but the last two teams built on Building a Team have been since the last two builds for the last two Building a Teams have been done. So, first off, we did War of the Gems this past week. Did not run the the Justice League team I put together, but I did run the Thanos team, which fell prey to bad map choice on my part. And the Shi'ar team, which both teams did actually fairly well. I had to buy the first round, so that's part of why, that's at least one reason why the Justice League team didn't get played. And then just recently, my group did the 400-point Rise and Fall figure build, and actually I went 1 and 2. Again, the Brotherhood team fell to an Avengers team that included the Chase Black Widow from the movie Gravity Feed. But it did actually do a little bit of damage using Exodus to mind control Phil Coulson and having mind controlled Coulson one-shot Jane Foster. That was fun. Also putting it, using I want to say it was Sabertooth and Inicion to take out Wolverine was also kind of fun. Then the Starjammer team fell to an X-Men team, but that and I feel like that probably could have gone a little bit better if I picked a different map. I won map roll, so it was my choice. Map choice was mine. I picked an odd one, so yeah. Finally, the X-Men team actually won. I made a few mistakes here, and there are things I probably could have done better looking back at the game, but overall, hey, I still won. So, it was a fun, and all three games were actually kind of fun. So, yeah. Anyway, so this upcoming build, kind of spun from Lucas from HeroClix headquarters that a couple weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, wanting, kind of wondering, well, if everyone else is going to cancel, we definitely don't want to get together and actually play because it's been like a month since we played. So 500 points, so I built a couple 500-point teams. Thing is, I liked them, and so when discussing next week, kind of started thinking, okay, so 500. What is the build? So we decided to be 500 points, must include a female character, for breast cancer awareness. Now, two of these teams are based on 500-point teams that I put together to potentially play against Lucas. Another team is one that I've just been kind of toying around with for a while, and well, now we got a 500-point build. Well, maybe I might as well use it, right? And that's the one we're going to start off with. It's an X-Men team. Now, it started off as being an X-Force team, but well, there are a handful of figures. There are a couple figures on the team that sadly do not have the X-Force team ability or keyword. But anyway, first off, we've got Sage. Sage comes in at 40 points. She has the X-Force and X-Men keywords as well as the X-Men team ability. She also has the trait Mutant CIA, which grants stealth and improved targeting, ignores hindering terrain. Looking at her dial, on speed we get nothing but sidestep. On attack we have telekinesis on the top click and that's it. On defense, we got a couple clicks of willpower, followed by a couple clicks of super senses. And on damage, we have a full run of special power, team logistics and coordination, which grants leadership and outwit. So on those first couple clicks, we got that oh so fun leadership and willpower combination. Next up, we've got Elixir. Elixir also comes in at 40 points. It has the X-Men team ability as well as the Hellfire Club, New Mutants, the 5, X-Force and X-Men keywords. We have a trait, the 5, Elixir. When a friendly character is resurrected by Krakow Revival trait, after resolutions, heal each character adjacent to them 1 click. Well, no one has Krakow Revival on this team, so that's not really going to matter. But that's not all that bad. So, looking at this dial, we open up with a few clicks of sidestep, followed by a couple clicks of stealth on speed. Nothing on attack, except for 3 clicks of 12 defense, or 12 attack, I mean. Damage, or 12 attack on defense. We open up with a few clicks of invulnerability, followed by a couple clicks of regeneration. And he can potentially get top dial with that if he ends up on that first one. Then on damage, we have open up a special power, Omega level healing. Support. But Elixir and his target may be adjacent to opposing characters. When a friendly character uses the X-Men team ability, increase the D6 result by -2. Or by +2. Increase by +2. Then we get a couple clicks of exploit weakness at the tail end on damage. Okay. So that bit about the X-Men team ability. To drive home what that does, the X-Men team ability as a power action, choose an adjacent friendly character that can use the team ability and heal that character 1 click and roll a d6. On a 1 through a 4, the character is dealt 1 unavoidable damage. That said, with Elixir increasing the d6 roll by 2, it pretty much becomes only on a 1 or a 2. So that's pretty good, actually. Makes the X-Men team ability kind of, a little less of a hindrance. So next up, though, we got Jean Grey from the animated series set. Jean comes in at 50 points and has the X-Men team ability as well as the X-Men keyword. Looking at her dial, we have a trait, Scott. It's a unique modifier. At the end of your turn, you may choose a combat value. If Jean Grey is adjacent to a friendly character named Cyclops, modify the chosen combat value by +1. Okay. Looking at her dial, we get a few clicks of mind control on speed. On attack, we open up with a couple clicks of telekinesis, then we get a couple clicks of penetrating psychic blast, followed by a closing click of telekinesis. On defense, we open up with a special power, force field projection, which grants toughness, and friendly characters that are adjacent or have the X-Men keyword can also use toughness. We then get a few clicks of inertial deflection. Okay. Next, we've got Warpath. Warpath here comes in at 50 points. He has the X-Men team ability as well as the Hellions, New Mutants, Weapon X, X-Force, X-Men, and Warrior keywords. He also has a Rally trait. Now, because it's really going to be coming up on with the other couple teams, Rally is the new ability in Rise and Fall. The way it works is the way that the traits in Rise and Fall work is they all key off of opposing attack rolls. So if an opposing attack roll includes a die that includes that's a 5, then you can put a Rally die on a figure with Rally, regardless of whether or not they have one already. Each Rally ability does something different. Warpaths, first off, it grants him stealth. As a free action, you can remove his Rally die to make a range attack with a 5 range using improved targeting hindering terrain. Okay. Looking at his dial, we got a few clicks of charge, followed by a couple clicks of flurry, full run of Blade Claw's Fangs, full run of Toughness, a few clicks of Exploit Weakness on damage, followed by a couple clicks of Outwit. Okay. Not too shabby. Next up, we've got Forge. Forge comes in at 60 points. It has the X-Men team ability as well as the X-Factor, X-Force, X-Men, Mystical, Scientist, and Soldier keywords. He has the Mutant CIA trait, same as Sage. Looking at his dial, we have a few clicks of Sidestep, followed by a couple of clicks of Plasticity. On speed, on attack, we have a few clicks of Penetrating Psychic Blast, followed by a couple of clicks of Precision Strike. On defense, we've got a couple of clicks of Toughness. Then on damage, we have a full run of the special power Technopathy, or Technopath. Perplex. When Forge uses to target another character that shares 2 or more keywords, he may modify the chosen value except damage by +2 instead. Okay, that's actually really good. Potential +2 Perplex. We've got a few characters that have 2 or more keywords. So, in fact, just looking at the ones we've already looked at, Warpath, Sage, and Elixir all share the X-Men. All have the X-Men and X-Force keywords. So, yeah. So we got plenty of possibilities for that. Next up, we've got Domino. Domino comes in at 60 points and also has the X-Men team ability, as well as the X-Force, X-Men, Assassin, and Spy keywords, and the Mutant CIA trait, same as Forge and Sage. Then looking at her dial, we got a few clicks of Running Shot, followed by a few clicks of Sidestep. On attack, we have a few clicks on the top of the special power Plant-Based Krakoan Arm Cannon. As a free action, you can choose one. Energy Explosion, incapacitate with 2 targets, or Penetrating Psychic Blast. Then she can use that power this turn. Okay. Next up, we've got a few clicks of Combat Reflexes, followed by a few clicks of Super Senses. On damage, we open up with a few clicks of Probability Control, followed by a few clicks of Close Combat Expert. Okay, not too shabby. She's mainly good for support with the prob, but she's also a more than decent, I would say, secondary attacker. And next up, we've got Cyclops from the animated series set. Cyclops here comes in at 70 points. He has the X-Men team ability, as well as the X-Men keyword. He also has trait Jean, which is the same as Jean Grey's Scott trait. When your turn, choose a combat value if he's adjacent to a figure named friendly character named Jean Grey. Chosen combat value but gets modified by +1. I still think that those 2 traits would be better if it said that, but they both modify the combat value by +1. But oh well. Anyway, looking at his dial, we open up with a couple clicks of the special speed power Optic Blast, which grants Running Shot and Force Blast. So then gives way to a couple clicks of regular Force Blast, then a couple clicks of Sidestep. On attack, we open up with a couple clicks of Penetrating Psychic Blast, followed by a couple clicks of Precision Strike. On defense, we get a nice run of Willpower, followed by a couple clicks of Toughness. And finally, on damage, we open up with a few clicks of special power Commanding Leader. Leadership. When Cyclops uses it and succeeds, after resolutions, choose another friendly character that shares a keyword and has 0 action tokens. This turn, that character has free, have speed, then move. It's move action, so. This is then followed up by a couple clicks of Range Combat Expert. Which, anyway, we'll get into the important part with that Commanding Leader trait here in a moment. Our final figure for the team, Cable. This is honestly to date my favorite version of Cable. I still don't think they've gotten the character right, but this is the closest they come to a classic, spot-on, perfect Cable. So Cable comes at 120 points. He has the X-Men team ability, as well as the New Mutants 6-pack X-Force, X-Men, armor, future, and soldier keywords. We have a trait, X-Force. Cable can use stealth. Then looking at his dial, we open up with a click of the special speed powered body slide. Cable can use phasing teleport. When he does and moves 5 squares or less, after actions resolve, he may make a close or range attack. And he has 3 different spots on his dial. So yeah. Then we get a couple clicks of running shot, followed by then back to body slide, then a couple clicks of flurry. On attack, we open up with a couple clicks of penetrating psychic blast, followed by a couple clicks of energy explosion. On defense, we have a special power, techno organic body, and telekinetic shield. Cable can use invulnerability. When Cable has less than 2 action tokens, he can use energy deflection. Okay, alright. That then gives way to some toughness, followed by a click of regeneration. Then on damage, we open up with some probability control, followed by a couple clicks of ranged combat expert, followed by a couple clicks of exploit weakness, and back to probability control. Now, the Cyclops is this commanding leader power. If when he uses leadership and succeeds, a friendly character with 0 action tokens can be given. It gains halves free, half speed, then move. Phasing teleport requires a move action. So, if Cable is adjacent to Cyclops and has 0 action tokens, after Cyclops has succeeded on leadership, perhaps by clearing a token off of Cable himself, then it would seem he can basically body slide twice. Now, one other thing we're adding to this team is the power gem to go on Cable. I'll be completely honest about it. Yeah, it's to go on Cable. Ups his damage by 1 and gives him close combat expert and range combat expert. Yeah, he's got range combat expert mid dial, but this would be for the entirety of the dial. So, looking at that dial, by the way, with the 2 combat experts, he'd have a 12 attack and a 5 damage. Then with the additional plus 1 damage from the gem itself, a 6 damage. So he could potentially be attacking on his top click for 6 penetrating damage. That's impressive. That was impressive when long dials were the norm too. So yeah. Anyway, so that's our first team. Our next team is the Weapon X team. This is actually one of the ones I built to play against Lucas. So part of it being, having so many figures I wanted to use, and just wanted to make sure I actually, got around to using them. So this is a Weapon X team, though. Like I said, starting off, we've got a Sinister Clone. The Sinister Clone comes in at 30 points. Has the Battle World Other, Marauders, and Scientist keywords, as well as a trait. Which one? There are so many of us, which grants shape change. Looking at his dial, there's not much to see there. We've got full run of stealth, a couple clicks of toughness, and a couple clicks, first and last click, but of perplex with nothing in the middle. And nothing on attack either. Of course, you might be wondering. I said this is Weapon X team, but he doesn't have the Weapon X keyword. We'll get to that. Next up, we've got Wolverine, and you can expect to be seeing this guy quite a bit lately or in the future because he's surprisingly cheap and good. So Wolverine comes in at 45 points, has the X-Men team ability as well as the Avengers, G-Grade School for Higher Learning, Weapon X, and X-Men keywords. We have a rally trait. Grants him regeneration. When he uses it before rolling the d6, you may instead remove the rally die and use that as a result. So, a 5, meaning he would get he would heal up to 3 clicks, potentially speaking. Next up, we've got Warpath again. But this is the same Warpath that's on the X-Men team. 50 points. But he does have the Weapon X keyword, so yeah. I've already gone over the figure once, so yeah, no point in going over it a second time. Next up, we've got Sabertooth. Sabertooth comes in at 60 points, has the Brotherhood team ability, as well as the Brotherhood of Mutants, Marauders, Weapon X, Animal, and Monster keywords. He also has a Rally trait. When he uses Blazing Claw's Fangs before rolling the D6, he may instead remove his Rally die and use that as the result. So you could just be like, okay, yeah, 5. And if it's early enough, he's got Exploit Weakness. So, in fact, we'll look at that dial right quick. We've got a couple clicks of Charge on speed, followed by a few clicks of Flurry, then a couple clicks of Stealth. Full run of Blades, Claws, Fangs, almost full run of Toughness, except for a couple clicks at the back end of Regeneration, and then a block at the top to the middle of the dial of Exploit Weakness. So yeah, you combine that with his Rally die, with a Rally die, you got 5 penetrating damage up close, which is never something to sneeze at. Next up, we've got Omega Red. Omega Red here comes in at, I believe, 8? Is that right? Yeah, 80 points. Has the Weapon X, Assassin, and Soldier keywords, as well as 2 traits. First off is, you see, Kotick understands me. When Omega Red starts the game, generate a Kotick bystander. We'll look, in fact, that's Kotick on the back there. He's got Sidestep, he's got Blades, he has a special power, and special speed power, damage power. Roar! He also has a trick, which grants Empower, and you can give Kotick a power action. If he's within 4 squares of an opposing character, you can place Omega Red adjacent to him. He also has a trait. Kotick, no! Come back! When Kotick is KO'd by an opponent's attack, modify Omega Red's combat values by +1 for the rest of the game. That's pretty insane. You kind of want to make sure this little kitty does get KO'd. But anyway, next up, trait-wise on Omega Red, we've got, you are not enemy, you are rations, which grants Steel Energy and Giant Reach of 3. Yeah. Anyway, so looking at the dial, now moving on to the dial, we have a few clicks of Charge, followed by a few clicks of Flurry. On attack, you open up the special power, Do Not Make Me Kill You, would be Inconvenience, which grants Quake and Incapacitate. Now, keep in mind, those Quake and Incapacitate, those can all be done from up to 3 squares away with a Giant Reach. We then get a few clicks of Poison. I think Poison requires adjacency, but I could. But anyway, then on defense we open up with Toughness, followed by Invulnerability. On damage we open up with Exploit Weakness, which then gives way to Close Combat Expert. A lot of Exploit Weakness on this team. I mean, a lot. Next up, we've got Mr. Sinister. We've seen the clone, now let's take a look at the real deal. Sinister here comes in at 85 points. He has the Hellions, Horsemen, Marauders, and Weapon X keywords. Okay. We also get a couple traits. First off, My Own Clone Bodyguard. During force construction, you may choose a character on your starting forces less than or equal to Mr. Sinister's point value to be Mr. Sinister's clone this game. The clone gains all of Mr. Sinister's keywords, meaning that the Sinister clone gains Hellions, Horsemen, Marauders, and Weapon X keywords. Next up, trait-wise, Mr. Sinister is dealing a game that don't allow for wildcards. Whenever an opposing character uses the team player wildcard ability, after resolutions, deal that character 1 penetrating damage. Ooh, okay. Looking at his dial, we open up with a click of Stealth, then we get a few clicks of Sidestep, followed by a couple more clicks of Stealth. On attack, we open up with Penetrate Psychic Blast for a good for most of the dial, followed by a couple clicks of Incapacitate. On defense, we open up with almost a full run. We have an almost full run of invulnerability, followed by a couple clicks of Regeneration. Then on damage, we have, an almost full run of the special power Master Manipulator, which rates Leadership and Mastermind. And, Leadership, Mastermind, and Outwit. When Sinister uses Leadership or Mastermind, the clone is considered to be adjacent if it's within 4 squares of Mr. Sinister. Okay, alright. Then we have a couple clicks at the end of regular Outwit. Not too shabby. And finally, wrapping up this team, we've got Hellhound. Hellhound comes in at 90 points, has the Mystic Team ability, as well as the Warp World, Weapon X, Assassin, and Mystical keywords. Then we got a couple traits. First off is Blood from Mephichathon. Steal energy, but may use it with close or range attacks. Okay. Then, Contingency Clause. When an opposing character would be dealt damage from Hellhound's Mystic team ability, instead, roll a d6 and deal that character penetrating damage equal to half the result. Ooh. And keep in mind, that's not just from close attacks. If someone does it, if someone gets her up close, that's period. And it's a trait, so it can't be out. It's a trait that does not grant a standard power. So, Outwit doesn't come into play with it. Looking at her dial, we have a few clicks of Charge, followed by some Flurry, followed by Plasticity. 5 straight clicks of Blaze Claw's Fangs, followed by a couple clicks of Poison. Then we get a few clicks of Toughness, followed by a few more clicks of Combat Reflexes. Open up on damage with Exploit Weakness, which then gives way to Probability Control, which then gives way to Outwit. Like I said, we get a lot of Exploit on this team. And finally, the other team that was built to potentially use against Lucas for, we have another X-Men team. Yeah, I know, I got 2 X-Men teams. Hey, the new set's an X-Men set. There's a lot of X-Men stuff I want to run, I want to try to run as much of this set as possible before Empire comes out. Anyway, this team will actually be fairly heavy on rally, which is why we're going to start off with Moira McTaggart. Moira here comes in at 20 points. She's unique and has the X-Men team ability, as well as the X-Men and Scientist keywords. We have a rally trait. You can remove you can remove a rally die from her to heal an adjacent character by 2 clicks. Okay, all right. Then looking at her dial, it's fairly short, 20 points. Open up with Stealth, a couple clicks of Sidestep, then back to Stealth. Nothing on attack. 3 clicks of Super Senses, followed by a click of Regeneration. Then on damage, we open up with the special power Muir Island Research Lab, which, if you give her a power action, she can give an adjacent friendly character with the X-Men keyword a rally die. She has that on her first and her last click. As you can see, rather important for the rally mechanic. Next up, we've got Tempo. Tempo was my pick for the fan vote when it comes to voting in a character to be on the current X-Men lineup. Polaris ended up winning the vote, but I was Team Tempo. She deserves it. And I hope that... I honestly do hope that she ends up as a member of not just an X team, but the X-Men, like the X-Men proper in the near future. Near future, at least before the Krakoan era eventually ends. So, Tempo comes in at 35 points. She has the no team ability, but she has the Acolytes, Marauders, Utopia, and X-Men keywords. She should have the Mutant Liberation Front keyword as well, but, well, yeah. Somebody forgot. We also have a trait. I can speed things up or slow them down. Free. Choose an adjacent character and modify its speed by either +3 or -3 until your next turn. That's handy. Now, looking at her dial, we open up with we've got a full run of charge on speed, nothing on attack, full run of super senses on defense. Then on damage, we open up the special couple clicks of the special power. I'm actually not that fast. It's just that I make you slow. Probability control. Adjacent opposing characters can't use super senses. Precision strike is nice, but you can still at least you can at least evade from that. Tempo, no, shuts it off completely. Then we have a couple clicks of just regular probability control after that. Okay. There's a yeah, she's actually, her piece is actually kind of a big deal. Everyone kind of wants a few of her. Modifying help. I mean, you got the whole, modifying speed, shutting off super senses. Yeah, it's kind of a big deal, and she's only 35 points. So yeah. Next up, we've got Wolverine, and we've already looked at him in the Weapon X on the Weapon X team. We'll just take another close up on the figure. I really do like that sculpt, and I had to. I did have to compare it to the one from X-Men Animated because it's just so close, but it is a different sculpt. It's just a similar pose. Anyway, moving on, we've got Longshot. Longshot comes in at 50 points and has the X-Men team ability, as well as the Excalibur, Exiles, Mojoverse, X-Factor, X-Men, and Celebrity keywords. We've got a rally trait as well. When he makes an attack, you may replace a die in an attack roll with his rally die. Oh. You don't have to... Ooh, I'm just noticing. It doesn't require that you remove the die. With Longshot, it just stays there. Also, Longshot's rolls of 5 and 5. When Longshot makes a die roll, makes an attack roll on its 2 5s, it's considered a critical hit. Which means if, say, you rolled a 5 and a 4 with him, and you replace that 4 with a 5, it becomes a crit. So that's pretty baller. Alright, looking at his dial, we get a few clicks of Running Shot, followed by a couple clicks of Sidestep, some Incapacity, followed by Blaze Claw's Fangs, some Energy Explosion, followed by Super Senses, then we get a full run of the special power, Born Lucky, I guess. This grants Longshot probability control. When Longshot is the target of an attack, he may use it regardless of range and line of fire. And the power is protected from Outwit and Pulse Wave. Now, 1, that means that it can't be outwitted. 2, Pulse Wave is kind of one of those weird little things where other powers can't be used against it. So, like, damage from Pulse Wave is basically unavoidable damage. Can't super sense out of it. No, it supersedes all other powers. However, because Lord Lucky, I guess, is protected from Pulse Wave, if Longshot would be affected by the use of Pulse Wave, he can prob it. So, I wonder then. I would think maybe also if a friendly character, if he weren't in range of Pulse Wave, but within prob range, I think not certain, but I think maybe he could actually even prob a friendly Pulse Wave attack roll. And I mean the range on probability control is 6, so I mean that's yeah, okay, all right. Maybe. Don't quote me on that one. And in fact, if someone knows for certain, let me know in the comments. it would make sense, but hey, there's a lot of things that make sense in this game that seem like they would make sense in this game, but aren't or don't work. So anyway, moving on to our next figure, we've got Akihiro. Akihiro comes in at 70 points. He's got the Brotherhood of Mutants, Dark Avengers, Dark X-Men, Horsemen, X-Factor, X-Men, Monster, and Warrior keywords. He also has the trait Muramasa Coated Claws. When Akihiro hits, give each hit character a poison token. Characters with poison tokens can't be healed and can't use stop clicks for the rest of the game, even if this ability is lost. Okay. Looking at his dial, we open up the special speed power. Won't see them coming. Charge, sidestep, and stealth. When Akihiro uses charge while he occupies hindering terrain, he does not have speed. This thing gives way to a few clicks of just regular flurry. Got a full run of Blaze Claw's Fangs. On defense, we've got most of the dial is toughness, and the last 3 clicks we've got regeneration, and sadly, nothing on damage. Not even no exploit even. But I mean, I guess the exploit would be a little much for the point wide with that trait. Anyway, but yeah, moving on, we've got Banshee. Banshee comes in at 75 points. He's got the X-Men team ability as well as the Generation X, Horseman, X-Men, Detective, and Police keywords. He's got a rally trait as well. When he uses Penetrating Second Blast, he may replace the die in the attack roll with his rally die. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think when it says replace a die with the rally die, I think you're still removing it from the card. So, yeah, because that's how Question's dice manipulation power works too. Is you have to remove the die. You're using the die. So yeah, okay, never mind. Neat idea. It can still give Long Shot a crit hit, but I'm just going to stay there. So, yeah. Anyway, looking at Banshee's dial, we've got 4 clicks of Running Shot, followed by a few clicks of Sidestep, full run of Penetrate Psychic Blast, and an attack value that never dips below 10. Then we got 4 clicks of Deflection, followed by 3 clicks of Toughness, and sadly, nothing on damage. I like that he gets the damage increase to 4 on his last click, though. That's nice, especially with the fact that he's got 11 attack value there. And next up, we've got Wolverine. This Wolverine's daughter, comes in at 80 points. Has the X-Men team ability as well as the Weapon X, X-Force, X-Men, Assassin, and Martial Artist keywords. We got a trait, Built to be the Best, which grants her toughness. At the start of your turn, heal Wolverine 1 click. Okay. Looking at her dial, we open up with special speed power, Nature and Nurture, which grants Charge and Stealth, which that thing gives way to a few clicks of Sidestep. Full run of Blaze Claw's Fangs, then we get a nice long block of Combat Reflexes, followed by a few clicks of Super Senses, and sadly nothing on damage. It would have been nice to maybe get some mid-dial Battle Fury, but oh well. And finally, we've got Apocalypse and Sabanur himself. Apocalypse here comes in at 125 points. He has the X-Men and Cosmic Energy team abilities as well as the Horseman, X-Men, Armor, Future, Past, and Ruler keywords. We got a Rally trait, which you can remove his Rally. As a free action, you can remove his Rally die to choose a friendly character that shares a keyword with him. The chosen character can use Blaze Claw's Fangs this turn. It's okay, I guess. We have another trait that's not Rally based. The Strong Survive. Adjacent friendly characters or characters with the X-Men or Horseman keyword can use Steel Energy. Okay. Then looking at his dial, we open up on the top half of speed. We've got running shot followed by back half being charge. On attack, we open up a couple clicks of penetrating psychic blast followed by a few clicks of incapacitate, then a few clicks of quake. Then we've got on defense, the first half of the dial is impervious. The latter half is the special power I planned for this very opportunity, which grants vulnerability and mastermind. Then on damage, the first half of the dial is the end is coming. Help me save this world, which grants leadership and outwit. Then we got a couple clicks of probability control, followed by a couple clicks of exploit weakness. Okay, all right. Okay. I'm not that enthused with Apocalypse's rally ability. I misread his point value initially, but as he is, I'd say he at least seems to be, while not a bargain for 125 points, it doesn't feel like the cost. He doesn't feel overcosted. So, but to be fair, he's actually one of the figures I've been looking forward to using on this team. So, yeah. Anyway, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.